So all those little things that they do in boot camp about making sure you tie your shoestrings one loop to the left, or 45-degree angles on your pillowcase, or your ribbons being 1 inch above. They want to make sure that you pay attention to every single thing, because there's certain pieces of equipment that you have where you have to take steps, and if you miss a step, someone can die.
At the end of the day, we have to get a mission done. We got to get a job done. Yeah. So no one is taking the time out to slow down, to put you in a position where, hey, let's walk you through these things, you know? And that's one of the reasons why camaraderie is so valued in the military.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience and a very, very dangerous job. And everybody is responsible for everyone's safety up there. Mm-hmm. So not me, not you. Everybody, if anybody sees something wrong, they're told to. If you see something, say something, because no matter what your rank is, if you see something that doesn't look safe, you need to say something, because at the end of the day, it can save someone's life. If you're ready, you're ready, because a lot of times those people that been in that long, they're not getting promoted for a reason. But they got that time in. How do you keep this person motivated? How do you keep them hungry? Right? You got to have that good mentorship, and when you, not just in the military, but any job you have, you got to have a good mentor, because it's going to be at some point where you're going to hit a wall. You got to have somebody you can go to that's going to get you back on the horse when you fall off. The biggest thing is lack of information. So they come with me with questions, and I give them all the game I can, because I want them to be successful. How to, be on time, which is one of the big things in the military. I tell people all the time, being on time, looking good, and staying out of trouble, you'll make it a long way in the military with just those 3 things.
True indeed. Repeat one more time for them.
Being on time, looking good, like meaning your uniform squared away, you got a good haircut, you shaved, your boots are shine. That's going to already bring attention. Oh, man, your uniform is nice.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of Veterans Voices. Today we are honored to sit down with a remarkable leader, seasoned sailor, Senior Chief Hicks. His journey epitomizes a dedication and service. A proud graduate of Navy Bootcamp in 2005, along with myself, Senior Chief Hicks, his naval career aboard the USS Ronald Reagan, navigating his early stages of service with resilience, determination, and honor. Over the years, he has served in distinction across 9 deployments, accumulating his illustrious career on the USS Abraham Lincoln. Since his vast experiences spans over aviation, surface, and informational warfare, showcasing an unwavering commitment to our nation's defense. Senior Chief Hicks, it's an honor and absolute privilege to reconnect and be able to have you here with our show to share our story. How are you today, sir?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, man, it's an opportunity to have you here, man. Hey, not too many people have been able to see the kind of transition from boot camp, to here for yourself and myself, starting as 2 young bucks in the Navy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's been awesome. It's been awesome, man. So, we always love to start with the first initial question.
Okay.
And that question is, what made you join the military?
It's funny because I never thought I would join the military. I played college football before I came in, and my dad was actually in the Navy, and I didn't grow up with my dad in my life. We have a really good relationship now, but my dad was in the Navy, was always gone, didn't really have him around a lot. Never really thought I would have joined the Navy because I didn't really have that relationship with him. But on another note, me joining the Navy has actually enhanced our relationship because it gives us something that we have in common that we can talk about on a regular basis. I was ending up going to college one night. I came home on a break, was having issues with maintaining the scholarship due to some grades my first couple years. Came home to go to a community college to get my grades back up and then reapply for my scholarship to go back to school and continue to play ball. And I was up one night late watching Antoine Fisher. So I swear to you, watching Antoine Fisher. And like the next day I went to the recruiting office just to get some information in case I didn't go back to school for a backup plan. And you know how those recruiters is, they got the game. They end up talking me to taking the practice test that day. Oh man, you ain't got to go in right now, just take the practice test. We just trying to see where you at. Long story short, here I am, Senior Chief Hicks, United States Navy. 19 years, almost 20. So it was kind of like a spur of the moment day. Long story for another day, but yeah, it's kind of like what happened.
Man, that's incredible. Listen, that goes to show you. Going to the military, it's many options, right? You have the Air Force, you have the Navy, you have the Army, but everyone has their real determinant on which branch they go to. But sometimes it's just the luck of the draw, and it seems as though that kind of where it fell into your lap. But now, obviously, when we talk about the recruiting process and your situation in regards to your experiences in transitioning into the military, yes. Your recruiter, how was that experience? I understand that obviously you were able to take the ASVAB or the practice test at that time. Mm-hmm. Was it something that you were more or less open to? Due to obviously your college situation, or was it something that you was like, hey, you felt as you must do it?
So no, I felt like, so when I went to go get information, right, because I was torn in between me being a man, having to be at my mom's house, going to community college, trying to save money to go back to school until I get my scholarship reinstated, and then watching that movie. And then I was like, my mom was okay with me being home because she was happy that I was back home. But I just felt like I'm at home at my mom's house, driving my mom's car. My mom's giving me $50 to go hang out on the weekend with my friends, which she was cool with, but I felt like I had to do more, right? So me going there to get information, and he talked to me into taking the practice test. Took the practice test, and then I didn't pick a job or anything like that. I just told my mom I was thinking about going to the Navy. I went to go talk to a recruiter. She was like, well, she had no idea. And it kind of like escalated, pretty quickly. But a funny story is, so my rate is ABH, aviation boatswain mate handler, right? So my recruiter was ABH. My first job that I picked when I passed the test was an ABH, because it was like ABH, CS was a culinary specialist to go be a cook. I'm not cooking for nobody. And then another one was like, I forgot what the third one was, but it was not nothing that I was really interested in. So my brother was getting married, and I picked the date to leave. I had a job as an ABH, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave. After next year, it was like a year before I was supposed to leave. So I went to my brother's wedding. I came back home, and I was like, man, I don't want to wait for a year. I'm ready to go right now. I'm just ready to get it over with.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, well, if you leave sooner, you got to go in undesignated. We're not gonna have a job no more. So you're gonna go in as an undesignated airman. Go in as an undesignated airman. Ended up striking ABH, because when I got to the boat, they put me to work for the ABHs, so I'm destined to be an ABH boatswain mate handler. So it's kind of like a destiny. Met with you in boot camp, 2005.
Hey, 339.
333. It was funny seeing Ken. We was always see him in the chow hall. We was both holding the positions of what you call master at arms. I think we sparked off because he was a big dude. I was a big dude. I was like, hey man, once we get to tug of war, it's on. So it kind of went from there. And then we ended up going to A school after boot camp. Down to Pensacola together. We hung out down there. Then we ended up we both found out we was going to San Diego to the Ronald Reagan. And it was just like peas and cornbread. We've been brothers ever since.
Yes,
always been tight.
Yes, sir. As always, it was interesting. I remember at that time being in boot camp, striking undes as well, right? First off, did you able to get a bonus going into undes?
I got a small bonus. They gave me $4,000 bonus to go in undesignated. After taxes, I got like $2,200.
Hey, that was $2,200. That's all you had to tell me. That little bonus, sounded on the dotted line.
Yeah.
But no, I remember being in boot camp, having that time in boot camp, that experience, having to hold down the position of master at arms. It's a leadership position. In your division.
Yes.
And to be able to see another person, another strong person and man that was carrying a position all the way through and through, because I don't know if you remember, it was only us two at that time from start to finish.
That is true. So a lot of people get jobs in boot camp, like leadership positions, but they get fired and rehired. We maintain our position the whole time throughout. And I got promoted from that.
Yeah.
Picked up a stripe.
You do. You definitely get promoted. And just to be able to have that camaraderie-ship with someone who's going through the same thing, dealing with the same people, dealing with the same obstacles to be able to connect with. It was just a great opportunity. So I think that's where obviously our relationship flourished. And seeing them in the chow hall, walking with the chow hall, talking about you're going to beat me at the Olympic Games. I'm like, who is this guy?
That is true.
But no, it was at that point, we were at that point, we just was basically connected at the hip and been so ever since. So that's why it's such an honor to be able to speak, especially for this one, this Veterans Voices, because we have a lot to unpack. We got a lot to unpack. Just to see I can't call him Randy here. It's the senior Chief Hicks, going from, the young buck of, in the rankings of boot camp all the way to leading his own division, and basically leading everything. You're the head honcho. So it's such a surprise. It's not a surprise. It's actually destined to come, but it's a surprise to see you and see the growth, So, but, obviously going through boot camp, how was that experience for you to be able to really get around a group of guys? I mean, this is 30, 40 guys that you have to lead, you have to be in charge of. Obviously, playing football, it instilled that in you already of the teamwork, leadership, and so on. But at that time, because you're going through the nervous reactions just like everyone else, how was that experience for you?
Honestly, boot camp wasn't really too bad for me. The only thing was just having someone to tell you what time you got to go to bed, what time you got to wake up, you got to make your bed every day. Me playing football, being yelled at was nothing to me. I've had football coaches in high school and coming up that probably said a lot worse to me than any recruit, division commander, or drill instructor had ever said to me. So being yelled at and screamed at and running and all that kind of stuff was not really the issue. It was just the point of having to be dictated on what time you're going to wake up, what time you're going to go to bed, what time you're going to eat, what time you're going to go to the bathroom, all of that. Sharing a shower with 60 other individuals, 10 of y'all lined around each other, undressed, showering right next to each other. That was just an experience that you had to get adapted to.
Yeah.
But, it was nothing really that I didn't expect besides getting my head shaved the minute I got there. So there was nothing I can handle. Like I said, I played college sports, high school sports, played football since I was the age of 8. So I was used to being yelled at and pushed by someone to get things done.
Yeah, most definitely. I think having that background, again, just being able to look up to you because you're like older brother. I see everything that you're moving and maneuvering things. It was just a special thing to see. It's like, if he can do it, I can do it. And also being in that group, you got to think we're in a group of people that come from all over the world.
Absolutely.
All over the world. And I'm talking about we have guys that's from Vietnam. We have guys from North Dakota. You have guys that are from New York. You have to be able to really instill yourself and be the position of groundness, of foundation, even though if they don't like you, even though, that they don't like what's going on. But you exemplified that at the highest level. And one of the reasons why I think you're in the position that you are now. But with that, now going to A school, that transition, got the Navy ball cap.
Oh, yeah. And it was a little bit different for me. So my Navy ball cap, because you remember, I failed battle stations the first time I went through. My division did. So we had to do it twice.
Oh, you would have.
So we failed. Yeah. So battle stations is basically where you have to do it's like the final night. You have to go through all these tests and trials and tribulations before as a group. And then you get your recruit ball cap. They take it from you and they give you your official Navy ball cap. You officially become a sailor. So we went through it on the Sunday night and we failed. And then to see everybody that went through with us to pass and get their hats, and then we had to go do it again with like on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And then finally pass was like it was tough. And we still was a battle lead division after even with failing battle stations the first time and taking us twice to do it.
That's funny because I never knew it was you guys. So they did tell us someone that failed. I think they pushed the graduation back a day or two, something like that. I'm not sure what happened there. But I remember doing battle stations. It was something where we had to be quiet in a certain area because Michael Jordan or Oprah had a house over there.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, because you're in Great Lakes, right? You're in Chicago, Illinois. Again, a little outside of the city, and being in Great Lakes, big time players live out there. So, but they literally we had to not do our chants and marches so loud because we didn't want to disturb the public. But yeah, that was a great feeling, being able to get through boot camp and actually put on that Navy ball cap. And I think just understanding your experience for younger sailors, those younger sailors would appreciate, that ins and outs because it wasn't easy. You know, it wasn't easy.
It was not. I think it's more easy now compared to how we did it.
That's what they say, man.
Because now they have a Universal Studios building. Everything is done in a building.
One building?
It's like one building. They have everything with all these sound effects and all this new stuff they have, all this new technology. We did it. We had to run around base. You remember running around base from spot to spot?
The whole
base
night.
With a bag on your back and boots. So now it all takes place in one building. But
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
different.
I remember doing battle stations. They told us basically we'll never have to jump off the Olympic diving board again.
Oh, I remember. You think I don't remember you up there? So Ken was one of the guys. You have this 15, 20 feet diving board you got to jump off. And he was stuck up there for like 30 minutes. Not when he walk out there to the bottom of it, he would look and shake his head. And they finally got him to jump off that thing. I don't know, but he was up there for a long time. But he didn't know.
Man, when I tell you at the diving board, you at the top of the diving board, all you see ahead of you is the largest American flag you have ever seen in your life with an Olympic-sized swimming pool, but you are on the diving board all the way at the top, and you're just standing there. And I'm looking down. It's like, hey, I can swim, but I can swim in 5-foot pools, 6-foot pools, 12 feet. Hey, hold on now. That's where we got to discuss. But then being up there, it's just this is the thing that you have to overcome your fears, and that was the goal, you know. But then at that point, they said, hey, enough is enough, and then they knee me in the back of the knee and fall. I'll get the tumbling down, and but it was an experience, you know, because you see people swimming across, but then they have the stick poking them out of the pool.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Yeah,
and we made it though.
Yeah, we made it. We made it happen. We made it happen. It was crazy.
We made it. Good times.
No, for sure. But then, you know, you graduate, right? I remember with us graduating, there was a time where, unfortunately, Pensacola was hit with a really bad storm.
Yep, Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
While we was in boot camp, Hurricane Katrina was going on. We got out. The base was kind of like still coming together, and there was a lot of other ships from the Navy that had got put there because the weather was bad where it was at. I remember that.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was because we had to stay longer. We got extended, and after we graduated, because we couldn't go to Pensacola because they were hit with obviously Hurricane Katrina. But when we finally got there, it was like a sigh of relief. I'm not
what?
It was a sigh of relief, man. It was like, oh, this is the fleet?
Yeah. Even when we graduated, we was there for like, 2-3 weeks before we shipped out to Pensacola?
Yeah.
But we weren't allowed to like bring cell phones inside or nothing like that. Like when you graduated, be able to get a phone and be able to talk to your family on a daily basis and wear regular clothes outside of a uniform. So when we got to Pensacola, that was like new life right there.
Hey, I'm telling you, the luxuries, the small things that you consider that is small, trust me, is bigger than what you think. You know, that was a real eye opener because you're staying in boot camp and you graduated, but you're still treated as a recruit.
Yep.
I'm treated as a recruit. So we had guys sneaking cell phones in and so on and so forth. But I'm not gonna, put the tricks of the trade out there. We're gonna kind of
absolutely.
But so with Pensacola, tell me your experience in Pensacola. What was that like for you?
So Pensacola was a pretty good experience. It basically taught you about the watch standing procedures because you get there in the barracks, they make every standing duty, right? Because on the ship you stand 24-hour duty. And when you got to Pensacola, they'll make you stand your little 4 or 5 hour watches in your uniform, rolling around to get signatures to get qualified to stand watches at the barracks. That way, when you got to the fleet and you got to stand those quarterdeck watches, you was already prepared because Pensacola did that. Was in school for like 3 weeks at HED school. Pretty much gave you an idea of what you're going to be doing on the flight deck. Work with the tractors and the chalking and the chaining of the aircraft and the movement of the aircraft, and basically showing you what phase 1, 2, and 3 is. As far as like, remember phase 1, you couldn't leave base from school in civilian clothes until you got to like phase 3. But it's kind of like when you get in the Navy. Your first couple ports, you don't get overnight liberty. You got to be back on the ship by 2200 or 10 o'clock. Then as you progress, you get overnight liberty. You get to stay in the hotel. So you don't really think about that when you were in A school, but when you get to the ship, you think about all the stuff that they did in boot camp and A school. It really prepares you for what you're going to see in the fleet. Getting up, making your bed every morning, checking about how your sheets is made. If you got the 45-degree angles on the edges of your sheets, all that is the attention to detail stuff that they teach you, because when you got a job and you're in charge of people or you're in charge of some equipment that can harm or do damage to people, any little detail that you miss can cause someone getting hurt or serious injury. So all those little things that they do in boot camp about making sure you tie your shoestrings one loop to the left, or 45-degree angles on your pillowcase, or your ribbons being 1 inch above. They want to make sure that you pay attention to every single thing, because there's certain pieces of equipment that you have where you have to take steps, and if you miss a step, someone can die. And a lot of those procedures are written due to things that's happened in the past.
No, true indeed. That's one thing the military has taught me. I think attention to detail is something so pivotal, and I don't think everyone understands it and how valuable it is, because me transitioning outside of service and becoming a civilian and understanding, what's going on overseas and what is also going on here, the attention to detail is lacked in so many ways, in so many shapes and forms. But at the same time, as long as you're able to kind of reintroduce that into your day-to-day civilian life, it makes it so much easier by putting the details in there, right? I even have my son make sure he makes up his bed every single day, to the point of the military style, because it makes you slow down to care about the small things and those details throughout life before you even go through the day of life. So, when we're talking about Pensacola, you develop, you go to the club in Pensacola, right? The on base little club that they had.
Oh, Portside.
Good times there, but just transitioning out of there. Now you get your orders, and your wish list is your wish list.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you get the orders to USS Ronald Reagan. Obviously, everyone has to check in at a certain day and time. Do you go home after Pensacola?
I did. I went home after Pensacola. Went home on leave for about 10 days.
Mm.
I went home right before Thanksgiving. I checked on the Ronald Reagan like 2 days after Thanksgiving, which was different because they were on what we call POM, which is stand down. They were on holiday leave. So half of the crew wasn't even there. They were going home because, remember, as we checked on board there, they were getting ready to go on deployment.
Mm-hmm.
So we got there at the end of November, right after Thanksgiving. We deployed in January.
Gone.
So it was gone. And for us being brand new sailors, we check onto a ship, and there's not a lot of people there because half of them is on leave. And then all of a sudden, everybody comes back, and you're like, oh, who's all these people that ain't been here since I checked in? But it was kind of weird checking to a ship in the middle of the night. The red lights.
Yeah.
Not knowing where you're going, getting lost.
What was that feeling like, seeing the ship for the first time with your sea bag and just really just not even walking across the quarterdeck just yet?
Oh, you're intimidated when you first see the ship. When they pick you up from the airport and you pull up there, because you can always Google anything and look at it. But when you see it like up hand and person, like, oh man, like okay, yeah. And then you got to walk up all the stairs, and us being big fellas, we're tall, we got stature. The ships ain't built for us.
Man.
We have to duck our heads down, and a lot of those tight spaces that we have and the places that we sleep at, they're not really conducive for big and tall. So.
Listen, I'm telling you, when you get to that ship, I can just attest that it strikes a piece of fear in your heart that you can't even explain. And it's not the sense of fear that something bad is going to happen. It's just the unknown.
There you go.
Right.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. The fear of unknown, not been in an environment that you ain't never been in before. Don't know a lot of people there. That's why we got even closer, because all of us that we got there around the same time, we just stuck together because we all knew each other from like boot camp or A school, so we all hung out together, and we was always in each other's spaces. Like during the time, and we was always in each other's spaces, and we had that whole little family. We grew up together in the military because none of us really knew what to expect, and all of us was really unfamiliar with the situation. So we grew together, like we made raid together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we pretty much did everything together. It was one of those situations where you have your group of guys, right? Everyone has their group. Everyone has their tribe. In service. In service, you have your tribe, and then you have your tribe within a tribe, right? Yeah. And it was more or less when you check on and you have to figure out what are these numbers on the bulkhead. How do I even get the chow?
Yeah.
What can I eat?
What's the nearest bathroom?
Yeah, exactly. You don't know anything. And, those sailors who's already been aboard, obviously some of them are very welcoming. But at the end of the day, we have to get a mission done. We got to get a job done. So no one is taking the time out to slow down, to put you in a position where, hey, let's walk you through these things, And that's one of the reasons why camaraderie is so valued in the military. But with that, obviously you're checking on and you're going through the position of being that E2 undesignated airman that is being V2? I mean, sorry, V3?
V1.
V1?
Flight
okay.
deck, yeah.
So now you're a flight deck ABH, okay? That is your job. That is your position. And understanding, if anyone understands anything about a aircraft carrier, flight deck is one of the most dangerous places in the world to work, he could tell you better than I can, but I'll tell you this. If your head is not on a swivel and you're not paying attention to detail, your life is on the line, and someone else's life is on the line. But tell me your experience checking into V1 and having to work that job at a high level so soon and so quickly.
So when I first checked on board, like I said, it wasn't a lot of people there. So the first week or so, it was kind of weird, hard to sleep at night because you're in a different area. It's like the ship is like really, really quiet, and then like you had all these dark lights. We didn't have like iPhones and all this kind of stuff that they have with Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff to keep you entertained right now. Like these kids, so if you got in their bed, you just lay there until you can fall asleep. Yeah. And it was always cold. The ship is always super cold because they want to keep the temperatures down. Finally, like after everyone came in there, met up with, you remember Cotton?
Yeah.
Cotton. DJ was one of the ones that was one of my qualified blue shirts as I was a trainee that took me around on the flight deck and showed me how to be a blue shirt in chocolate chain aircraft. Another guy was Thomas Dobson that trained me, a guy named Arrington. These all were good guys. They were senior blue shirt that showed me around. And once I got the hang of it, you really do got to keep your head on the swivel because you got to think all these jets are moving all the time, all this equipment with tractors and tow bars is moving around. Not only are these jets moving, you don't want to get ran over, but you got to pay attention to the exhaust because the exhaust can blow you overboard. You got to make sure you stand clear of the landing area when planes are landing, standing clear of the launching areas when the aircraft are taking off. It's constantly things going on. You got to constantly have your head back and forth, seeing what's going on, and you can't be up on deck if you don't have a clear head. Like I always tell people, if your mind ain't in it, take the day off because I can't have you up here if you're not completely engaged on what we got going on. But yeah, it's definitely an experience and a very, very dangerous job. And everybody is responsible for everyone's safety up there. So not me, not you, everybody. If anybody sees something wrong, they're told to. If you see something, say something because no matter what your rank is, if you see something that doesn't look safe, you need to say something because at the end of the day, it can save someone's life.
No, true indeed. It's an incredible job at hand. You of importance because a E1 could save a E8, E7, E9's life with the small things, by understanding the small things. Being on the flight deck, it's a very exhilarating place, but also it's a place that could really bring much danger. And we've seen some stuff on the flight deck, won't get into too much of it, but I'll tell you this. One of the things, the flight deck was such a dangerous place. Being a young man, I checked on board. I was a V2, right? And that's catapults in the resting gear.
Yeah, cats in the resting gear. They're like our cousins for the most part.
Listen, and being on the flight, it was just an experience where you had to strike out. For myself, it was something that I had no interest in, But that was something that I knew that the dangers that entailed in it was something that I didn't want to carry on.
You know what? I forgot you was in V2, bro.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that green shirt, brother.
Yeah, how long was you in V2?
That green shirt was rough, man. Let's not talk about that.
I literally forgot that you was in V2.
Yeah, so I checked in at V2. I was there for about About 6 to 8 months or so. The first deployment.
Yeah.
And they wind up. I moved around from V2 and V3, and that's how obviously getting in contact with Jackson and everybody.
Was you cats or arresting gear? Which one you wear? Cats?
Yeah, cats.
I think it was about cats, huh?
Yeah. So just being
that's crazy. I forgot about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, long watches, being dirty all day, on flight on the deck, and it's a rough job. Those guys, those girls and guys that actually work that job, man. Hats off to you, because it's a tough job, and you're always dirty. You're always dirty.
Yeah, V2. So it's funny, man. When we was down in Pensacola in A school, because we came in undesignated, and one of the guys that was down there was like, "Hey, hopefully when you go to the ship, they let you pick where you get to go, because usually they just pick where you go. You're going to go to V1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They said, but whatever you do, don't go to V2. They work all day and they get dirty." So we got on board. We checked on board. It was like several of us. It was me, Lowe, one of my guys, Chad Yarbrough, and then Master Chief Callahan. It was like, you know what? Today is your lucky day. I'm going to let y'all pick where y'all want to go. So he come in. We was down the list. It was like 6 of us lined up. He was like, where you want to go? I was like, V1. So the guy next to me said V1. So I like, V1. And then it just went down the way. And not knowing that V1 was ABHs or anything, I just knew that not to pick V2, because that's what we was told in Pensacola. So got lucky with that one.
Yeah, no, 100%. V2 is it's a tough job. I can't. My hat, like I said, hats off to you guys. Keep on pushing and stay positive, and make sure that again that you're always paying attention to detail to those things.
But you know about V2, man, they work hard, but they advance well too.
Oh yeah.
So you'll see guys that work in V2s and their resting gear. They work long hours. They'll make chief in like 7-8 years. Some of them 10 less than 10 years. But they work hard, but they promote quick, and they only work hard their first few years. Yeah.
No, 100%. And I was still, the thing is that I was working V2 and they had me in a V3 version. So being in a V3 burden, you kind of split in 2 different ways. So, I
already know. You already know. I know.
But yeah, so it was definitely an experience. So being in V1, tell me about your first time, really experience having to fly solo up there, where you're being the director, you're handling things, and you feel confident. Obviously, you have mentors, right? Mm-hmm. Some of those mentors that really grew you and put you in a position of success. How was it actually being able to take the reins of things?
So actually, like me coming in at an older age, at 22, 23, I had already had a job before. So a lot of people that come in, that's their first job. So me, like the little work we was doing, I was like, this ain't nothing. We work like in port and V1, working on the flight deck. If we don't have any jets, you only work a couple hours a day. You maintain the flight deck. And there's so many of us, like so many junior sailors that, the work is spread out. So I had good mentors that showed me how to keep my uniform right and how to, be on time, which is one of the big things in the military. I tell people all the time, being on time, looking good, and staying out of trouble, you'll make it a long way in the military with just those 3 things.
True indeed. Repeat one more time for them.
Being on time, looking good, like meaning your uniform's squared away, you got a good haircut, you shaved, your boots are shine. That's going to already bring attention. Oh, man, your uniform is nice. Especially when I learned out when you come to work and they will give you days off. You got a good uniform, uniform inspection, you got a good uniform, you're off. So, but having the people that set forth for me, like Master Chief Hawkins, right, was the ABH, Big Hawk was the ABH-2 Hawkins back in the day. He called me a steady Eddie one day. He's like, you're gonna do just enough to get by. And he was telling me, this is what he told me, basically taught me how to make the system work for myself. And once I figured out the game of how it all works, I was cool. I made rank pretty quick because I got all my qualifications. Qualifications is what makes money in the military. If you got the qualifications, if you fully qualified, you get a little bit more leeway. Like I could be late, a few days here in a row if I got a lot of qualifications. Think, all right, well, he ain't late a lot, and this guy's qualified in XYZ. So, learning how to get your qualifications, and then once you get qualifications and you get experience is the main thing. Once I became a blue shirt, and like you said, once I got up there by myself, and once I did it continuously, then I got more comfortable. Then I got more comfortable, and I was able to move around and do things on my own and train others. And once you start training other people and become that senior blue shirt, even though I'm an E2 or E3, once the new E1s come in, I've been doing it for a little while. Now they looking at me like I'm one of the what they call it a BK Blue King.
Yeah.
Basically like a lead blue shirt as a young leader. So that once you do that, you're good to go.
Yeah, man. I think being able to be in that position, you really led the charge, right? Because going back and understanding like, hey, you check on. We're being deployed the next month, pretty much. You're pretty much being deployed the next month, and being deployed the next month, that's a shell shocker for many. So now having to navigate the day-to-day, because import life and deployment life are two different lives. You are living two different lives, okay? So by being able to turn the switch on and me being so successful at it, it was really, I think, even through the lens of myself, of someone on the outside looking in, it was just an amazing thing to see, But now I ask, with you overcoming some of those challenges, what were some of the challenges you thought that really, really set you back, or not necessarily set you back, but put you in a mindset where it was a very difficult one, as you were going through the ranks?
One of the things that really used to get under my skin in the military was people telling me, "Oh, you got time to grow," right? So I've always made rank quick because I came in late at, like I said, 22, 23. Most people come in at 18. When I first came in and I was 23 and working for someone that was 18, and we pulled into Australia. That was our first port. And I had to be back on the ship at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm 23. I got to be back on the ship at 10 o'clock, but I got guys that's like 19 that's been here a year, and they get overnight to get to stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to get overnight? Well, you got to have your air warfare pen. You got to have this qualification. You got to have that. Say less. So then I started grinding. So once I figured that out, and Big Hawk was telling me keep getting all these qualifications, I started getting the love for getting qualifications. Then it's like, hey, what quals you got? Oh, I'll call you. So it got to the point to where I started making rank fast. And once you make rank fast, when it comes to evaluation sometime, instead of you getting what you deserve, you may have someone that's been in longer than you, and they always want to say, oh, well, this person is senior. We'll give you the eval that you need next time because we're trying to help this person promote. Even when you get to making chief or senior chief, like, I've always hate with that, oh, you got time to grow, or you still got a lot of time. It don't matter. If I'm qualified for it, no matter how long I've been in, it shouldn't affect me from being promoted where I need to be promoted. So that was one of the challenges that it took me a while to get used to that. Having to wait your time. I've always hated that. If I'm ready now, I'm ready now.
No, true indeed. It's a system, right? Every place has a system, and I think the military shows a system concurrently on a regular basis. But at that time, I think that was just the military, right? That's just how it was.
Yeah, it was.
Is it? Can you tell me for insights? Is it very similar now? Or?
No, it changed. It changed a lot now. So it's still people that's like that. But me as a leader, it's crazy because growing up in V1 now, running V1, being a V1 leading chief petty officer. If you've been in the Navy, like I got a first class that's in, which is the E6 that's trying to make chief. I got a guy been in 19 years. And like, oh, well, we need to get him the LPO spot so he can make chief. And I got another person that's been in that's like 10, 11 years that's grinding and hard. I'm like, hey, look, you got one shot. If you don't make chief this year, I'm done with you. You had 19 years. If you ain't figured it out in 19 years, you ain't about to figure it out right now. I'm not about to hold this person back because you're senior to him and you got all this time in and you need to make chief. You could have, if you ain't figured it out in 19 years, I'm putting my attention towards this other ABH one right here that's got all the qualifications, all the checks and the blocks. He just need that position that you holding on to as the lead to get where you need to be. So I changed that. I'm not with that. If you're ready, you're ready, because a lot of times those people that been in that long, they're not getting promoted for a reason.
Well, talk to them. It's always some underlying aspects of promotion, right? And I commend that. Because it's like a lot of times it's like that in the federal government as well. It's like that in other civil service positions. But if the person is ready, they're ready. They're ready to go. But you can actually demotivate the person by not putting them in that position.
There you go. And that was one of the hard things that I dealt with. And luckily, my mentor, Big Hawk, is always telling me, man, just keep grinding. Because like I said, if you got somebody got all the checks and the blocks and doing everything they're supposed to do, and they going above and beyond, and this guy been in, or this gal been in longer than you, but they don't have the qualifications you have, but they got that time in, how do you keep this person motivated? How do you keep them hungry? Right? You got to have that good mentorship. And when you, not just in the military, but any job you have, you got to have a good mentor, because it's going to be at some point where you're going to hit a wall. You got to have somebody you can go to that's going to get you back on the horse when you fall off. There was times like where I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do the bare minimum. I ain't going to do nothing else. But me and how I am and how I operate, I couldn't do it. So my time eventually came,
Yeah, no, true indeed. And it's, I think also, speaking towards that, I think for young sailors out there, young military members, I think it's a good notion to understand. You need to put yourself around positive mindsets, right? Because it's very easy being in the military to really join the peanut gallery.
Yep.
Right? It's very easy. It's, oh, I'm not going to do this, or I'm not doing that. This person said this person said that. Hey, just keep your head down and keep grinding. But obviously
they said, who is they?
Who is they?
Who is they?
Because it's crazy. It becomes very, because negative information travels so much faster than the positive.
Absolutely.
So, but now obviously being up there and you taking the lead of that, how is the feeling being promoted? What is that feeling like? Actually saying, hey, I did the work, I got promoted on my own merit.
It is amazing, and it's so different right now. The promotion system it's totally different right now. But studying back in the day, remember we stay up studying the rating manuals, studying the books,
the BMR,
and then you had to take the test, and you got to wait for the results to come out to hear your name come across the speaker when you make rank, and then everybody down there and screaming and yelling when you put your new rank on. It's a great feeling. Don't go away. That's one of the best things in the military is promotion day.
No, definitely. Promotion day is one of those positions where you'll never be able to get back. The first time you put that E4 on, the first time you put that E5 on, and and say, hey, here's the keys. Time for the drive.
Absolutely.
No, that's great. That's great, man. So obviously, man, in your naval career, you're on deployments. Your first deployment, is there any type of hump on your first deployment where mentally that you had to overcome, because being gone for the first time for that allotted amount of time in the military, how was it for you personally?
Actually, the first deployment, it was in the beginning it was rough because, like I said, we had just got there. We were all new kids. But what helped me get through the first deployment was us. Remember, it was me, you, Lo, Ed, Deeds, all of us that hung out together. We didn't have Facebook and all the stuff they have now, Wi-Fi like we have now. All we had was email and then letters.
And then luckily the email, hopefully the email worked.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like when we pulled in the ports, we all hung out together, went to go do stuff together. So that was like my family. Actually, that built our family right there, because all of us are still close to this day, the ones that still here, RIP to D's and
Rest in peace.
Other ones that didn't make it. But that was our family, and I'm closer with some of y'all than I am with some of my family. And most of y'all know my family. We know each other's family. But that was what helped get over that hurdle on that first deployment. We got there to a ship, was there for a month and a half, and went on deployment. We didn't really know a lot of people, so all of us clinged on to each other. And we would hit port. We were all, hey, what time you get off on the ship? And it wasn't like we had the cell phones, because overseas, we don't got like SIM cards now where you can get off the ship and, hey, I'm going to call you. We're going to meet here. No, we used to have to meet up somewhere, go sign out, meet up, and then go. We'd be 10, 15 deep walking around together.
Hey, true indeed. Hey, meet me here at 1500, okay?
So that's what helped get through that first deployment. And then after that first deployment, it was easier because didn't have no kids yet. You know what I'm saying? But it was hard not talking to my mom, because I was, and my mom that was the first time I had ever been going to her, not talking to me on the regular like that.
Yeah. Shout out to Mama Hicks as well.
Celestine, do it for you, baby. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was like the hardest thing, not talking to my mom like that, you know, being gone. But I got used to it.
Yeah.
I think that it was actually a benefit coming in and then going straight on the deployment and getting it out of the way. That was more of a benefit. Then you make the little extra money out to sea. You know, your little tax-free pay, your little hazard duty pay. So you're like, oh, you get back in. You're like, oh, this ain't bad. You know, you get this little extra change. So
No, I think you know, those key experiences were huge because, like you said, being on that first deployment, man, you know, that first deployment shaped your rest of your military career.
absolutely.
It shaped it. It shaped it. I mean, just seeing everyone around us grow and really be put in a position, it was motivating.
And then hitting ports, right? I had never been out of the United States before.
Australia, being able to hit Australia and at the tender age of 19, hanging with these guys was an experience. It was just an experience because you talk about being in a different country that you have never even thought about going to,
Or be able to afford to go to.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Come on, where we come from.
Yeah, and then also understanding like you are literally looking at history, right? Being able to see the Aborigines and stuff like that. That's a connection that you will never be able to kind of reshape or mold again. But that deployment, I guess, you know, because your military career was a special one, right? Your military career was a special one. Understanding that. You have done 9 deployments.
Yes.
You've done 9 deployments.
Yes.
And just to kind of put some context to this to you guys, understanding Senior Chief Hicks here has just gotten back from a deployment on the USS Abraham Lincoln. Now, comparing your first deployment to your last deployment, what are some of the key differences and experiences being just an entry-level sailor to now leadership running the show?
So, as an entry level sailor, it's different because you're really not privy to a lot of information, right? They're only going to give you the bare minimum because you're a junior sailor and you are pretty much a subordinate, so you don't really need to know what's going on, big picture wise, right? As a senior sailor, I got to know what's going on and I got to protect everybody else. So I only give them the ins and outs of what they really need to know, so they can stay engaged. But it's a lot of stuff that goes on behind doors where I'm just like, man, like I feel bad for them because they're going to feel it, like not hitting ports. So the first deployment, we hit a lot of ports. We hit 6 ports. Our first port was Australia. We went to Singapore. We went to Dubai.
Hey.
And like it took a month to hit our first port, and then like every 2-3 weeks, we were stopping somewhere. Right? It was so hard to save money because every time we went somewhere, it was out.
Yeah.
This last deployment, it was a little different. We had Wi-Fi, so you're able to communicate and talk to people on a regular basis. Like I said before, we only had email, but being able to text if you have, you know, Wi-Fi and stuff like that and social media. But we didn't stop through any ports because of mission tasking. We got called to go do the nation's business. So as a leader, it was hard to keep everybody engaged. Just imagine keeping 160 sailors engaged when we're not stopping in port and they're lonely and this is their first deployment and they don't get to talk to their family like they want to, or we're not going anywhere, seeing any ports, we're just floating out to sea. So then I got to keep them engaged. I got to talk to them and make sure they're mentally intact so they can perform the job that we got to do, because we already established that working on the flight deck is a very dangerous place. So me being a leader, I had to keep them engaged and motivated to do the job every day so we can do flight operations to go provide support to what we need to support.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. You talk about not hitting any ports, and I just couldn't imagine. I feel terrible for some of those COVID sailors as well. No one talks about that.
Yeah.
Many of those sailors there, I mean, they went 10 months, nothing, just on the ship. You know, and that's a tough mental space to be in. You know. But as leadership, I've seen you grow from being that sailor, being that first E2, E3 sailor, growing into the role that you are and doing an amazing job at it. But now you have to balance 2 different parts of life.
Absolutely.
Right? Fatherhood on you looks great. Right? Fatherhood on you looks great.
Depending on what day it is. With a teenage daughter.
And now I ask, having to balance military, fatherhood, and also just professional and personal successes and goals in life. How do you do that? How is balancing, making that balancing act work? How do you do so well at it?
So it's actually challenging, right? So you got to look at the big picture and the reason why you're doing it. Everybody has a different why, and my why was to provide a better future for my daughter than I had. Like, I'm not going to say that I had a bad growing up, but I was raised by a single parent, so I got what I needed, not necessarily what I wanted all the time, and it wasn't always easy. So as adults right now and parents, we try to make sure we work to provide for our kids so they won't have to experience what we did. So when I didn't have kids, deployment was easier. Right? When I say kids, I have a kid. We would go out because all I had to worry about was myself. Now I got to worry about somebody else, and then you're missing out on things. People don't really understand the sacrifices that military people make. Like, I can't tell you how many birthdays I've missed, funerals I've missed, important family reunions, things like that. It's like, just even for an example, I had a sailor that kid was born like 2 weeks after we left and was in shambles because he wasn't able to go home. And I just had to talk to him regularly to get him engaged. Like, hey, look, man, I understand you. I've been there. My daughter was 3 weeks old when I got home. She was born. Luckily, they flew me out because somebody got hurt and they needed me to escort them back to San Diego. So I got there to be with her we had like a month left on deployment. I was able to fly home early for the last month to go escort a sailor back to have surgery on his hand and be there with the kid. But my kid was 3 weeks old when I got there. But they don't really remember that. I said, your baby is so young, your kid's not going to remember you not being there.
Yeah.
So get this out the way, get the deployment out the way, focus on that, make your money, don't do nothing stupid to get kicked out because you're going to need these benefits to take care of that kid. And he was able to get back on, get engaged. But you have to do that a lot now because they're not mentally strong like we were. I had to have conversations all the time to keep sailors engaged. But it was very challenging. So when my daughter was younger, I say that it was easier. It really didn't affect her until like my 2018 deployment. She was like 8 or 9 years old. That's when she really started noticing me being gone. And then like calling me, asking me when I'm coming back, and then crying and stuff like that. So that's when it really took effect. Now she's a little bit older. Even now, when I came back to San Diego in 2019, she got used to me being gone again. Right before I deployed this last time, her mom was telling me how she was not happy that I was leaving again. So that's another reason why I put my paperwork in. Like, I could continue to go and reach other goals, but at this point, it's like, I feel like I've sacrificed enough and missed enough. Now it's time for me to put my focus on being the dad I need to be. I've always been involved in her life, but I want to be involved even more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's an amazing honorable thing to do, because when you talk about making those sacrifices, it's so synonymous with entrepreneurship, right? Fatherhood is something that you want to be present in, but sometimes your non-presence is their presence. You know what I mean? So by being able to prepare and put your retirement paperwork in and making that ultimate choice to relieve your duties for the U.S. Navy, it puts you in a position where now you're preparing of a transition of a new journey, right? And this is all new for you, going through this transition. And I ask, how are you preparing yourself for your transition outside of service?
So I started this a couple years ago. Started about 2021. Started working on getting my realtor's license. That was something that I wanted to do. So I can't be the person that preaches to sailors all the time saying, if you're going to get out, have a plan, and I don't have one. All right. So I used to always tell sailors, hey, what are you going to do when you get out? Oh, I'm going to party. I'm going to do this. The first thing they say they're going to do when they get out. What's the first thing they say they're going to do?
Go to school. That's one of the things.
Go to school, and then some of them don't go to school. They're going to say, I'm going to get out, I'm going to smoke weed. You going to get out.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get out. All you're going to do is get out and smoke, and then what? So get out with a plan. Have a plan set up. I started working on this 2021, and the goal is I've been doing it part-time, active duty military, full-time, part-time real estate agent. So the goal is to fully roll over into that when I get out and collect my pension.
And there we go. Because guess what? You put the plan in place. You put all the pieces in place. So now you have every piece of your transition has been planned to a T. And that's what we try to preach to a lot of our, sailors, airmen, soldiers alike, that it's already difficult enough, right? With it being difficult enough, now it's time to take the time to make sure that you're prepared. You already sacrificed enough. You sacrificed for this country. You sacrificed for your family. You sacrificed for sailors that you're looking over. Now, with this transition, I think a lot of times we don't think about ourselves enough.
Absolutely.
And now you're able to really take that into effect and really you take care of yourself, and because I'm extremely proud of everything that you've done. You've always been a mentor and also not only a mentor, but being able to see the bigger picture, right? For myself, I came in at about 19 years old. I was 19, and everyone was always older. Right, I was the young buck of the crew.
That is true. He was the young buck of the crew.
So it was just a different. Vantage point for myself going through all this stuff. Being a little bit younger, because you guys obviously experienced a little bit more. But it was never a sense of
you always had an old soul though.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was never a sense of it was always one of those, oh, you fit right in, okay, cool. Yeah. But I say that to say, just because you mentioned the mindset of military personnel today.
Man, it's starting.
How is the military today?
So a lot of there's not a lot of mental toughness. You have to do a lot more coaching now than ever did.
Oh, wow.
I do a lot of coaching now. I mean, it'd be people coming in just like, I don't want to do this no more. I'm like, hey, man, look, why? I was asking why. So what's going on? Hey, why did you join? And sit them down. I don't need to go yell at people. That's why I get so much respect, because I talk to everybody like adults. Mm-hmm. I don't scream on somebody unless I got to. But most of the time I can get my point across to anybody I really need to. It's like, I sit down and talk to them, but they're not mentally stable like we are, right? A lot more, and that isn't a bad thing. It's just the way that the society is right now, even with my own kid, at times I got to talk to her about having confidence in herself. Even with sports, like, oh, I don't think I'm good enough. Yeah, you are. Like, you you just started doing this, and look how much you improved. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times you have to give them that little push a lot more than we didn't. When I came in, I didn't need that, or it wasn't done for me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But now you have to constantly give them that little pat on the back and tell them that hey, you're doing a good job. Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, that's excellent. And that'll make them go a long way.
Yeah, no, true.
Back when I was coming, hey, come in, go to work. Hey, go to bed.
Get to it.
Hey, just telling somebody you appreciate what they do goes a long way. Hey, I appreciate what you do.
No, 100%. It is. It is a different world, even in the civilian sector. One of the differences is that when I transitioned outside the service, it was you automatically, as soon as you are wearing this uniform, right? Again, seeing your anchor, seeing your rank, seeing who you are, immediately, you instantly get a different type of respect. In the civilian sector, it's just not so. That's not so prevalent. It's immediately, once you look at the person, that they are not knowing who you are, so there is an immediate thinking that we're on the same level. In the military, yes, we are all human beings and we're on the same level, but there's a hierarchy. Mm-hmm. And you need to listen to this person because, hey, that person is higher ranking and is in leadership. But that's not so much in the military. That's not so much like that in the civilian sector. So it's just, it's different, but that same mindset that you're speaking about, having to need a lot more coaching, needing a lot more emotional assistance and push or motivation it's a lot different. But I think with all the transitional aspects that you've already run into, because you know the old Navy and you know the new Navy. Most people don't know that. So a lot of people only know the old Navy, or a lot of people only know the new Navy. Yeah. So I think that's going to be definitely a huge component for you. But with that being said, I guess obviously you've coached many sailors. You've developed many sailors. What is a piece of advice you think that you can be able to provide sailors with during this day and age of the military?
Just be flexible. Be flexible, because the military changes night and day, right? So now, for example, they just came out. Well, for the past 2 years I've been on the link, and there's been so many changes. PRTs, physical readiness tests, you can fail those and still promote. You don't have to you don't have to get your air warfare until you're E5 now, or your surface warfare. They just took away the test for E4 and below. Now they wait 30 months. After 30 months, you automatically promote to E4, right? So now they changed to where they got billet-based assignment. So now you get to pick orders. If you don't you ain't gonna put on rank unless you get the orders that they give you. So be patient with it and be flexible, because there's so many changes back and forth. There's some new nav admin coming out every few months. So if you want to be successful, you got to be flexible and being able to just adapt to whatever they're throwing out there. Because like I said, in the old Navy, we'd be like, oh, I'm getting out. Oh, I ain't dealing with that. But now stuff is changing on a regular basis. I just tell them, hey, be flexible. And when you are not enjoying it anymore, then go home. Hang it up. Don't be somewhere and half do it. If you're not going to be all in, then go home. That's part of the reason why I'm retiring right now. I'm just not 100% in no more, and I don't want to have do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%.
So my mind ain't in it like it used to be, and it's time for me to go. Yeah,
once your mind is in it, you know, it's just a disservice to where you're at. It's just a disservice to where you're at.
Yeah.
But now, I guess with that, you know, though your mind isn't anymore, you have dove into a industry that is incredible.
Yeah, let me change that. Okay, I'm not gonna say my mind ain't in it. I love leading sailors and taking care of sailors. I love that part. That's the part I'm gonna miss. But overall, big Navy and just the way they, like I say, a lot of changes going on, I'm not really conducive to that anymore. It's just like the sports right now. We see a lot of old school coaches retiring because they don't like how the NIL thing is going. They don't see themselves fitting in that mold.
Yeah.
That's how I see myself. I don't fit where the Navy is going right now. I love my sailors. I love mentoring and bringing them up. But the way the Navy is going, I just don't think I fit. So that's why I said it's time to hang it up.
Do you think the new changes in regards to what Big Navy is putting out, do you think it's going to be most successful for our military?
I think it can be, but I got to worry. The thing is, like, it's going to. So me, if I was a junior sailor, I think I'll be all right. Because all I'm worried about as a junior sailor is myself. But being a senior sailor and being the leading chief petty officer, or being a lead, I got to worry about me. I got to worry about everybody else, right? So at the end of the day, that's going to take a toll on my family. That's going to take a toll on my mental, because constantly all these new regulations and new changes, I got to make sure I enforce them. I got to make sure I'm trained up to them so I can know how to preach them and teach them to the junior sailors. That's a lot of task and a lot of toll. And I'm getting older. I'm not getting any younger. So that's a lot. That's going to be a lot more on me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So my mental capacity and what I got going on in my family, I feel like I'm at a point to where I can't continue to go down that road.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I would think that, you know, Big Navy will want leadership like you guys. You know, it instills something so different than the new military is instilling, and also it's needed. It's needed, you know, because we've consistently heard, you know, about all the changes. One big change I want to ask you about is the retirement plans. How does that work for sailors or just the military in general?
So the retirement plan changed in 2018 with the BRS, the blended retirement system. So basically, it's more like a pension or 401k base. So everyone can get something because I'm grandfathered in to the high 3 to where I can retire and I get paid for whatever my highest rank was that I was in for 3 years, and then I get paid right away. With the BRS, you get 2.5% a year. So you can, no matter how long you was in, you can get something, right? So you can do 5 years and still get some type of retirement, but you ain't gonna see that probably until you're like 65 or something like that.
Oh, so you have to wait until 65?
You have to wait. So you get, no matter how long you've been in, you can get something. You can do 2 years and get something. Everybody gets something, but you don't get it right away, right? Mine, as soon as I retire, I'll get my retirement check, and I ain't got to wait for that. I'm not trying to wait till I'm in my late 60s to get paid.
Yeah, it's almost like a Social Security.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's almost like Social Security. That's interesting because now it just puts an effect on what you do outside of service, right? I mean, yourself, obviously, you have your direct plan getting out. What made you actually transition, I guess, to doing real estate? What was the motivation, or what was the desire to understand being an agent and the effects it can have on again your sailors or military personnel?
Checks, man. I'm just joking. No, I've always been a people person. I can pretty much get along with anybody, building relationships with people. The real estate portion, the fact that I can, you can work on your own. You work pretty much your own schedule. And then once I got with Derek, and Derek, I seen what he was doing, and I've always said, dang, I want to get my real estate license. But I never really looked into it. So once I started looking into it, I kind of liked it, And it's again, helping people, right? Helping people accomplish dreams. Like I help people in the military, now I'll be helping people on the civilian sector. And then I'm good with talking to people and leading people, so I feel like it was a match made in heaven for me.
No, true indeed.
And then them checks.
Yeah, San Diego price points in real estate is just a little bit different from the rest of the country, right? But obviously we want to address.
It ain't all about the money.
That's what they say. No. But obviously there's so many different things that come about. What do you think some of the basic challenges that most military families face when purchasing a home? Because again, you bought, sold, investments, and different things of that nature with yourself. What are some of the biggest challenges you've seen?
The biggest thing that military face when it comes to buying homes and real estate is the lack of information and knowledge. There's so many people in the military that think that it's so hard to buy a house, don't know anything about the VA loan. I was one of them. I bought my house at 38 years old. We ain't gonna tell anybody how old I am. But and all my friends would always tell me, hey man, you should buy a house. You out here buying them Jordans, you out here buying them Cadillacs, would you buy a house? BAH stands for buy a house, So, but I always thought it was so challenging. You always think you gotta have the perfect credit score, you gotta have all this money in the bank. And all it takes for you is to go to a VA seminar or have someone to introduce you to somebody that you trust, like for you, for an example. Right, I was, hey man, when you gonna buy a house? You bought a house before me, and you always talking about how you looked up to me. I looked up to you. You bought a house before me. You always been really good with money, good with business savvy. I always go to you with my business questions and stuff like that. So you bought a house. Your realtor is actually my realtor, right? Yeah. So you put me on to your realtor, got to know him. I wasn't quite ready to buy right then because I had just came off deployment. I said, I'm gonna rent for a year, and after that, I'm gonna buy me a house when this lease is up. And then a whole bunch of people was trying to get me to buy a house, sending me all these people. Even the guy I worked with on shore duty, he was a realtor. Hey man, let me know when you're ready to buy. I said, nah man. I told my guy that I'm gonna go with him and his guy when I'm ready to buy, because I'm loyal to people that that's loyal to me, in our relationship. The year come up, I called you, hey man, I'm ready to go. I called you, said I'm ready to go, ready to buy this house. Called Derek, came over, and we got the process going. But when I went to the process, when I started learning everything, like, I should have 3 houses by now. And I really say the biggest thing, and I talk to this about my sailors all the time. I really don't try to sell them homes because I can't. But when I get out, so the biggest thing is lack of information. So they come with me with questions, and I give them all the game I can because I want them to be successful. buying a house is all about knowledge. I tell them to go to a VA seminar. You ain't got to go buy a house, just go listen to the information, right? Even when I was instructing, I had you come and talk to them about the VA stuff because they don't know about that.
Yeah.
We're held from so much information, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing for military families, I would say, is lack of information. And then being scared, right? We don't think we qualify. And we don't think we qualify because we don't have the information, right? So getting them the information. Everybody that went to a VA seminar or got some information or talked to a realtor, like, yo, I didn't know it was this easy. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And then a lot of times, I think also we talk about information, right? I think a lot of times it's a lot of negative information as well, like bad information. This false information travels so quickly. One thing could be said in a chief mess, and next thing you know, it's all around the entire ship, or even just casual conversations, scuttlebutt talk, and just now, next thing you know,
and the haters.
I
don't think you should buy a house right now. Just because you ain't ready to buy a house, I ain't ready to buy a house.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying? You ever tell somebody that you're doing something and they always try to talk you out of it at the end of the day because they don't want to see you win?
Yeah.
So really watch out for that.
Well, make sure you reiterate that point right there. I want everyone to understand that your success is necessarily not deemed on someone else's thought process.
Absolutely.
Please go ahead and reiterate that right there for the people.
Same people that's telling you that they don't think you should do it is the ones that don't want you to do it, right? So, and I always tell people that when I'm selling them a home, like, this is your decision. This is your home. I understand that you're getting information and you're getting ideas from other folks, but at the end of the day, your name's going to be on that deed, and you're going to be making those mortgage payments. So you got to think about what you want to do. Right, it's good to get information from them, but at the end of the day, this is your decision.
Yeah. And I personally have seen again seeing Chief Hicks walk you through the process through and through from step A to step Z, not only explaining but actually fighting for your actual deal, because there's been many deals that's been put on the table, which again him and I discussing and say, hey, this person probably just isn't qualified, but I've seen them go over and beyond to be able to really garner some additional factors to make that person get into that home. And again, that person may have not been knowing what's going on in the background, but again, sometimes leaders are going to show up and leaders are going to lead. And that's what it is. It's leading to you into your home or your desired property.
And that's why I went with the military, like I said, the real estate, because it reminds me kind of like the military, helping people, right? So just like when somebody make rank in the military, you see somebody make rank and how excited they is. Just imagine seeing how them people is when they buy their first home.
Wow.
When they didn't think they could buy a home. Like we say, we misinformation, right? Or lack of information. They don't think they can buy a home, and then you see them buy a home, how excited they get when they crying and they thanking you, and so that's a big deal.
No, true indeed. I mean, I can't stress enough for everyone to really understand. You serve this country, so now it's time for you to own a piece of it. Okay, and again, whether if it's a small piece, big piece, it's your piece that you deserve because you've been entitled to those exclusive benefits that you have unlocked. Okay, so really navigate that process. But going into that, right, talking about, again, some of the benefits that veterans have, and when I mean veterans, I mean active duty members as well. It's so many benefits out there. We talk about the VA home loan entitlement. We talk about health care benefits. Now we talk about the new retirement plan. Right, anyone can get anything at any age. Right, that's an amazing. That's so many different benefits are out there. So when navigating benefits and your transition, what are some of the most things that you are focused on during this time of your transition, and benefit wise?
GI Bill schooling, so I could take some more classes to get more education. I'm able to pass it along to my daughter as well, which I have signed over some of that to her. Trying to get more homes using my VA loan multiple times. 'Cause a lot of people don't even know you can use it more than once. So the property management. What is the other one? The registration.
Oh yeah.
The registration.
the registration for California, the county. I mean, but there's so many different outline benefits. Even understanding disability compensation, right?
Yep.
That's an access point that a lot of people don't consider. It's so many different benefits that are afforded to you. But now I ask, do you feel prepared going through this transition with any information that you're supposed to have for benefits?
No, I'm not fully prepared, but I've been getting pieces here and there, and I have TAPS class coming up actually Monday starting. So the the transition assistance class, and they go deep over into the benefits. I got you know what I'm saying, who always hit me up and let me know what's going on, what's up with what's going on with everything, and giving me more knowledge on everything. And that's why I refer you to a lot of my friends that's already retired, because I know you're going to put them on and help them get what they need, because at the end of the day, I know how you are with your business. If your name on something, I know you're going to go above and beyond. So, but the same thing I learned in the military, right? We rely on our resources and on our people. So everything that I don't know, I go to others. But I'm not fully confident in everything, because we're not really taught about all that stuff about the benefits until it's at the end. Right? No one really tells you about what you really get benefit-wise until you towards the end of retirement. That's why so many people lack their benefits and don't have a VA loan or don't have any disability ratings, because they don't really know where to go. Yeah. And they get it all at the last minute. By the time they get it, it's too late.
And they're already being pushed out, right?
There you go.
Think about what's happening right now, right? Transitioning to retirement, to civilian sector, there's so many different things to worry about. Some people are relocating to their home station. Some people are purchasing or selling a home during that time frame. Getting your retirement package approved, going through TAPS class. What school is your family going to attend? Your kids are going to attend. Some people are getting married. Some people are getting divorced. Some people are. It's so many different things happening when you're transitioning to retirement. And it's tough. And
it is crazy, because back in the day, TAPS was not mandatory. Right? So like we talking about how many people lack information and how they don't know about their benefits. It got to the point to where the military now, it is mandatory that you go to TAPS class. It's not, you can't just, I want to go, I don't want to go. It's mandatory. They will not let you separate from the United States Navy or any military branch without going to TAPS class now, which is basically to go over all your benefits, basically teach you how to do an interview, how to do a resume. It's mandatory. They won't sign none of your paperwork off until you go to TAPS class. Like, I can't even finish the rest of my stuff until I go to TAPS. I got a lot of it done, but I can't finish a lot of it until I complete TAPS on Monday, which is for a whole week next week.
True indeed. Man, this has been an honor, man. I really appreciate everything that you have done, not only for myself, but also for other sailors and also for this country, right? But with that, reflecting on your 20 years of service, what are some of the most proud moments that you think you have done to be able to solidify your legacy as an AB?
One is making chief, man. You know what I'm saying? And then senior chief. So my dad retired as an E6. So in the Navy, the biggest accomplishment is making chief, right? Everybody don't get to make chief. I think 1 out of every 88 person or so, something like that. Then senior chief, that's a 3% club. Only 3% of people make senior chief. Because to be a senior chief, you got to be able to lead other chiefs. Because as a chief, you're running the show and you're telling everybody what to do. But you got a bunch of goats, somebody got to herd the goats, right? So as a senior chief, you're leading all the other chiefs and everything falls on you. So, and being the V1 LCPO. Like I came in working in V1, so me having my own division and being able to make all the decisions in the division and complete control and watch them prosper and grow. And this past year, one of my first blue shirts I had, I got my first person that made chief. Right, so one of my sailors that I had come in at 18 years old made chief this year as ABH.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So that's how I know I got to retire too. I'm getting old, but yeah. To see your first guy make chief, like I had my first sailor make chief.
Dang,
I've had a lot of people make, third class and second class, but I had my first sailor make chief this past year. So
yeah, that's an awesome vantage point to be able to see your first sailor now putting on them anchors, putting on them khakis.
So
Right?
I've had guys go from chief, but E6 to chief, but to have somebody that came in, that was an
E1?
E1,
Yeah.
and now they
Yeah.
just made chief. It's like, yo, it's trying to go home.
All right, last question, man. Obviously, your illustrious career has been stamped, man. You go into the history books as one of the best. But now, let me ask. If I can ask, I want to make sure that our young sailors who are potential sailors or someone who is trying to get into the military of that career of yours, of reflecting. Give them a piece of small advice going into service and the mindset they should have.
I think going in, you got to have an open mindset. And I think it's a great opportunity for you to get a start in life if you don't know what you want to do. Right? Some people coming out of high school know they want to go to school. Some people go to school and then still up in the military. But what the military gives you, it teaches you, for one, it makes you grow up. Right? Because I started paying my own bills once I got in the military. Had to pay my own rent, buy my own cars, and then having to be at work on time all the time, show up, haircuts. So it sets a foundation and teaches you some things. And if you don't know what you want to do in life, you can go in there for a few years and get your benefits like we talked about.
Yeah.
Get your GI Bill, get your school paid for, get to travel the world a little bit. Or you can make a career out of it. I had so much fun, I made a career out of it. I met some good people, got the benefits I needed, and then I made it a career.
Fantastic. So with that said, Senior Chief Hicks, I want to thank you. We honor you, and we want to thank you for your leadership, your dedication to this country, your dedication to your family, your dedication to your friends, and also those who have come under you. We really appreciate everything you have done, and if anyone can say it, I'll be the first to say it. It was an honor to serve beside you, and now to see you have reached points I probably will never reach in the military. Well, obviously won't, right? But but then the 20 years, it seemed like it blew by. So thank you. Really appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you for being here and actually speaking to the audience. With that being said, continue to push on and farewell, and we appreciate everything.
Hey, man, thank you for having me, man. It was truly a blessing to be here with my brother. And you would have made it far, because we made E5 at the same time.
Hey, man, don't tell the people where we at now. Don't tell the people. Hey, we can put some anchors on.